Welcome back, guys. We are at a different studio today, but I'm very excited to be working with all these people out here. My man Glenn is producing us today. We're here. Shout out to Jabrizi for letting us use the studio. We have an incredible guest today. She is Lika Osipova. She is the creator of Miss Russia United States, which is one of the reasons why I want to have her on, because I love pageants. You know, I host 3 of them right now. She's a recording artist, an award-winning producer, and the owner of Bodega Taboo in Los Angeles. How you doing today, Lika?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
Very nice. Very nice. I was going through a bunch of stuff that you had done. I was reading on your Wikipedia page. You have a master's degree in linguistics.
Yeah.
So how did that describe that for me?
How come I become like founder of Miss Russia?
Yeah,
and, like,
no, but I'm just saying, like, what made you want to get a master's in linguistics?
Well, when you know that I was born and raised in Russia.
Yeah, what city in Russia?
It's a small city, like 2 hours from Moscow.
Okay.
Called Pyatigorsk.
Okay.
Pyatigorsk city. Hello, guys from Pyatigorsk.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was my favorite university, linguistic university,
Yeah.
and that's how I got my master's degree. But actually, you know that I was one of the top 20 students in the whole university that got presidential scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and of course, like I finished it with the honors. Yeah.
Is it the president of the university or the president of Russia?
The Russia.
President of Russia.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I see. So it's like bigger than the dean's list, like what we have here in the United States.
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. I'm not gonna mention how many years ago it was, because people gonna calculate and they're gonna find out how old I am.
Listen, it was Putin. It wasn't Yeltsin. He's not saying anything like that. Okay, Putin's been there for 20 years. You're good. So anyway, so going back to this, you what makes you initially? So I'm always interested in people's story, especially when they come from another country. My mother's from Medellin, Colombia. She came over to the States because she was a nurse. We needed nurses back in the 1970s because so many of them went over to Vietnam or joined the U.S. military. What was your story for coming over to the States?
Well, to be honest, I didn't want to come here because, you know, it's like a huge step to come to different country with like zero English, zero money to start everything from the beginning. And I already had base in Russia. I was hosting a lot of events. I was a winner of multiple beauty pageants at that time, and I was a journalist. But I came to visit my sister. And I decided to stay here.
What city were you in?
New York, Brooklyn, Bensonhurst.
So what happens in Bensonhurst that you see the first time that you hear hip hop? Like, what was it? What was the thing that made you want to stay here?
A lot of garbage on the street.
A lot of garbage on the street. That makes people want to move here. You can get that in Los Angeles too. So.
Right now, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I was shocked and I was crying and I wanted to come back so bad.
Yeah.
Thank God that I didn't come back. So I stayed for the next year. And then I decided to create my own show, Miss Russia. I was too young for that. And people didn't take me seriously. Like, hey, girl, you're like too young for that.
This is different. So you have a Miss Russia in Russia, and then you have a Miss Russia United States in the United States.
So actually in Russia, I was one of the contestants and winner of multiple Russian beauty pageants.
Okay.
I gained a lot of experience there because I also was the host, director of the beauty pageant. And then already gained this knowledge. I came here and decided to open my own show using this knowledge.
I've hosted several bikini competitions, but I'm not allowed to compete for whatever reason. Yeah, they don't let me. So I don't have the same experience you do.
But you can be one of the judges, right?
No. So because I'm the recruiter and the host, I will never let them allow me to be a judge.
Oh, because it's like, I understand
the other issue for me is the reason why I never judge the bikini. I never judge Swimsuit USA. I never judge Paradise Challenge. I never judge the Girls of Summer Bikini Competition, the Playboy Summer Search, or any of those bikini competitions. Is because I don't want them mad at me. I'm the one recruiting them. And if they don't win, I'm going to be like, hey, listen, I wasn't a judge. Because if I'm a judge, then it becomes like a huge conflict of interest.
You're smart.
Yeah. I've always said that is like a bad idea. So in this type of situation, so you're competing first, and then you end up hosting, getting involved in that end of it. Is there like one governing body? You know, like in the United States, we have Miss USA and then Miss Universe, and we have or Miss America and Miss USA. Do you have overall governing bodies, or are these all just different pageants?
So no, basically it's like 5-6 auditions before the actual final show. And at first it was Miss Russian LA, and then it became Miss Russian United States.
Okay.
So the top 10 go to compete.
So this is in the U.S. What I'm saying, you're competing in Russia, and then you have in the United States, you have your own pageant
Yeah,
here.
it's different. It's
Okay.
not related to Russia. It's just for Russian speaking people.
For sure. In Russia though, do you have, you know how in the United States we have Miss Mississippi, Miss Texas, Miss Alabama,
Yeah.
Miss Nevada? Do you have the same kind of thing?
No, because now a lot of Russians live in all the states.
Yeah.
Basically, they're all in New York, Miami, and here, in Los Angeles. So, I mean, that's why we can do all this. But,
Yeah.
they come from different states, like as much as they can, they compete. And yeah, but I ended this show. So
Okay.
I finished with my 10th anniversary of Miss Russian in 2021.
Okay.
It was my last show.
Why'd you end it?
I'll tell you why.
There's
First
a lot of sad
all,
men right now that are like, what you mean? Are you telling me there's a bunch
I
of
can-
beautiful
I can-
Russian women?
I can hear the cry. I'm
Yeah.
like, who's crying there?
Like,
Okay.
put a one in the chat if you would like her to bring back a pageant with beautiful Russian women who speak Russian.
First of all, you know that a lot of Ukrainian girls compete in, and they won like 5-7 times
For
my
sure.
show, and it was called Miss Russia, not because it's like Russian, because it's like Russian speaking.
Sure.
But you know that we have a war right now, like
Okay.
craziness which is going on. And for all my respect to everyone, I can rename my show, but I don't want to continue it right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I stopped in
So
2021.
this is something that similar that happened with back during the Olympics in the 90s, where the Serbian players wouldn't speak to, I forgot which, it was maybe Czechoslovakia, where there was a split between two countries and they wouldn't speak to each other afterwards, or something like that kind of situation where they had to stop playing as one team. So I can see something like that happening, but you just don't want to be a part of the drama at all.
Yeah, you know that, and probably we're going to talk about later about my singing career, but I did something on a stage when the war started. I was performing and it was a lot of people, and I was wearing the t-shirt with the Russian flag, and my dancer, female, she was wearing the t-shirt with the Ukrainian flag. And at the end of my performance, we kissed.
Yeah.
But we kissed not to promote something like LGBT or something, but to kiss to, it's more like deeper meaning, not like to show that people need to be together no matter what. Because now, unfortunately, a lot of hate between Russians and Ukrainians. And most of the people took it so nicely as a support, as a good action. But it's a lot of haters also.
Most Russian people I talk to are not in favor of the war and the invasion of Ukraine.
Normal people would never be like that.
That most of the people who I see who are in favor of the war seem to be bots. Like they're not actual real people, but I see a ton of, whenever I talk to actual Russian people, because not to get too far into politics, but when the invasion of Crimea had like a 74% approval rate in Russia, and the invasion of Donbass had like a 17% approval rate. So it's very different. And I think, a lot of people, especially in this country, feel like Putin miscalculated on this second invasion, and it's gotten him into a situation where he can't pull out. And so I can see, like I said before, most of the time when I speak to Russian people, they're like, yeah, we should.
Well, I'll tell you that normal people would never support anything related when people dying.
Yeah.
Both sides. But, and it's a lot of wars, not only in Russia, guys, so many wars here, many people dying like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm all about peace and love.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You're in town this week for Maxim.
Yes.
Can you talk about this whole weekend?
Yeah, amazing Maxim. It's so nice. I met so many great, incredible people. I'm one of the hostess of this Maxim Carnival. And I mean, I like it. The energy is so good. Beautiful ladies.
Yes.
Amazing, beautiful. And your girlfriend, one of the models. A lot of like brands, a lot of opportunities. I like it.
Yeah. It is great. Have you done any covers since you've been in the United States?
No, but I was featured in Maxim, but not one of the like cover models.
Yeah.
But also I'm here not only like to be the host, also to promote the event, because I'm have a very huge like fan following. So yeah, I'm also promoting the event.
Is there a Maxim Russia or a Playboy Russia?
I think Maxim is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lika, weren't you part of Basic?
I was actually on a cover of Harper Bazaar.
That's what it was.
Yeah. In 2020.
Okay. Nice. So going back, Miss Russia, United States, did you start that whole thing, or was that something you competed in and then started working with?
No, this is what I start from the
Okay.
very beginning, from the scratch.
Yeah.
And it was very hard for me to find sponsors, people who believe in me, because like the Russian girl barely speaking many years ago, like English, and like trying to explain and try to get sponsors. You know, this stereotype about the Russian women, that they like money oriented. You
Well, I
know.
didn't know this. My girlfriend's half Russian, so I'm curious.
Yeah, so it's like only the stereotype,
Yeah.
but and that was very hard.
Okay.
But long story short, I made it, and I'm very proud of it. I'm proud that a lot of people believed in this project,
Yeah.
because it's not only beauty pageant, it's not like bikini show,
Yeah.
it's more deeper. It's a talent show.
Sure.
And all my girls are incredibly talented girls. And I had like people from like a lot of celebrities been judging my show, like from America's Got Talent producers, and they're like, Lika, wow, I want to take like most of the girls to America's Got Talent
Yeah.
and to participate them. That's a huge compliment.
So a lot of I have a coaching program, and a lot of what I teach, a part of it is event planning. And so I'm curious, if you don't mind, like going into some of the original issues you have. When I talk to my clients, one of the first things they talk about is what you just said, finding sponsors. Like, so what would you advise for people to find sponsors? Like, for instance, we're hosting a charity next week. We're trying to raise money for animal rescue. Finding sponsors in general for something like this, like a competition or a pageant. How would you go about that?
You mean how to just to give an advice how to get sponsors?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that I think the biggest thing is just to believe in this project, to
Mhm.
understand that you're not only about money. For me, for sure not.
Yeah.
I was doing it only to help the girls, to bring them to the next level, and just to see the results. The only thing that I like, not only thing, but most of the thing, that the sponsors returning to me every year.
Sure. Yeah.
It means that it works.
Yeah.
And it's a huge like brands, they coming back to be a sponsor.
How do you find a venue?
So I did it in on Rodeo Drive, the Beverly Wilshire on Rodeo Drive.
I've
You
been
know, the
there.
legendary Pretty Woman.
Yep.
Yeah, was filmed there. And you know, I believe in manifesting, and I was dreaming about to do show there.
Yeah.
I was like, even like, you know, imagining everything in picture, how I'm gonna do that. And I did it during the pandemic.
Okay.
It was very hard to get that venue, extremely hard, but I did it. And I mean, I go there, I talk, I show the like the plan, the project, I explain what I do. And I like what people say, that, you know, your show very different from the beauty pageant.
Yeah.
You like you're doing it in a different level. It's not just to show the body of the girls
Sure.
and beauty. It's more like about the inner beauty.
The recruiting. How do you do that?
So give me the
Do you
meaning.
do you use social media? So for instance, I do one. There is one actual pageant. I do Swimsuit USA, which is a pageant. They have to answer questions. There's a nightgown section. There's it's not exactly a talent section, but there's an obstacle course. There's a bunch of stuff they have to do. And in those things, the recruiting is almost entirely done through Instagram. Most of the time, there's several different recruiters. I'm one of them. When I do a bikini competition, it's totally Instagram. There's nothing but Instagram. It's the only way for me to do recruiting. When you were doing recruiting for this, were you using Facebook? Like, how were you finding Russian speaking girls?
All the social medias,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, like I don't know what else, like Twitter, not Twitter,
Yeah.
but something else. But
Yeah.
like everywhere, we post on groups everywhere. But you know, it's easy because my show exists for 10 years.
Oh, sure. It would
And
get
people
easier.
know
Yeah.
that I don't need to advertise. Then now on March, it's Miss Russia. 3 months before I do like auditions. So yeah, I don't need to. First 3 years was hard.
Did
Yeah.
you have to do paid ads maybe the first 3 years?
No, I never paid for
Okay.
ads, never. Because you know, Russian community are not huge,
Hmm.
and you know, it's easy. We support each other. That's good.
So you would have, and obviously it's Russian speaking, so you could have someone from Azerbaijan, Chechnya.
Armenia, like Kazakhstan,
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. And you had a disproportionately high number of Ukrainian girls. That is one thing they say about Ukrainian women, is that they're very
Yeah. Oh my
attractive.
god! Like I would say 70% of Ukrainian have been contestant of my Miss Russia.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the United States, Miss Texas has disproportionately wins Miss USA over any other state.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just, genetics maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So going on this, you had a national social media. Oh, actually, no, I have one more question for you. Your judges. How do you pick your judges?
Well, first of all, you know, I'm extremely picky person,
Yeah.
and everyone who involved in my project, they need to be on the same page, same vibe, you know,
Yeah.
very good energy people. So I don't, if I feel the energy that the guy come not to judge but to take some girls
For
from
sure.
the show, no, decline right away. I don't need that. So how I pick the judges? Professional. I see how professional they are, how they can help the girls
Yeah.
afterwards. That's the most important thing. So I had Diane Warren, 30 times Oscar nominated, and finally she won it. Songwriter. I have like multiple different people from industry. Larry Namer from Entertainment. Oh my god, if I'm gonna mention all of them, it's gonna be forever. So many like big names. They just supportive people. I never paid anyone to come to my show and
Mm.
judge or support or be like a celebrity guest. Never.
Yeah. The first time so a lot of girls getting into pageants now, things are a lot different. Do you have any advice for girls that get into these pageants? Is it different in Russia than say the United States? Is it different Miss Russia versus like other pageants that you've seen?
Well, advice first of all is you know when you, all the time I keep telling to the girls, when you go to the stage, don't go there to impress someone,
Yeah.
impress yourself. This is something that you need to challenge yourself. Don't go there to win this crown, go there just to enjoy this
Yeah.
process. That's the most important, because afterwards it's just one winner, and it's only 10 judges and only they decide, and it's million people who would say, you know, I think number one is better than number two. So it's not about the crown, it's
Mm.
all about the process and connections, networking. So that's my advice, just to have fun and just to get some knowledges from professional people.
During the talent section, was your talent singing?
Mine,
Yeah.
in back in Russia, I
Yeah.
was dancing that time.
You were dancing.
Yeah, but I'm dance too.
You knew you wanted to be a singer back in Russia?
All the time.
All the time.
It was like my passion since I was a kid. Unfortunately, my parents didn't support that.
Okay.
And when I came here, I decided to, like, you know, to make all my dreams come true, because only we can help ourselves, right?
Yeah.
No one could do it for us.
Yeah, this is not what my parents would have wanted. Thought I
Yeah.
was going to end up doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
got
but
out of the military.
if you had this passion, you need to follow your
Sure,
passion,
yeah.
no matter how old you are.
Yeah, for sure. One other thing you talk about, you had a national social media award. What was that? Is it in the United States? What was that from?
In LA and in London.
Okay.
Yeah. So I won to in here and there. So in Los Angeles, it was during pandemic. I was the best social media during COVID, and in London, the best musician of the year. So I mean, I was, to be honest, it's like something incredibly surprising for me that I'm just started my music career, and they noticed me. They told me my music popular in London, and they invited me. They told me, you're gonna perform, you're gonna open or close the show, and we also want to nominate you. And I actually I didn't think that I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
I was just I wanted just to perform and just to have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end I won the award.
So your music career, you've been producing music. This is in recently, like in the last 5 years, or you've been doing
So yes, I'm a songwriter. I create my own songs, and I started seriously like 4 years ago, and I released my first single in 2020.
One of the things you talked about, there was an interview you did where you're in a car with a guy. I can't remember exactly who was interviewing you,
Nate.
but yeah, there you go, Nate. And one of the things I tell my clients all the time is that social media is fake, and I'm okay with that because the money's real. And so you talk about this before. You mentioned something to the effect of like it can have a very negative effect on people when they start comparing their lives to other people on social media. Can you go into that?
Oh yeah, that's so true. And it's so bad. I think that no one needs to compare themselves to anyone, not only on social media, in real life too. But now people, you see what's going on. People can't show the real face. They just
Yeah.
put 500 filters on. They afraid to be like themselves because they see that someone is better than they. So that's why they compare themselves. That's why they have this all the panic attacks and anxiety and craziness, because they can't accept themselves.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's the worst. And also, you know, you can live any life you want using the social media, but come on, hey guys, it's real life. You need to live in this moment. Social media is good for me. It's good because I can interact with my fans, followers, friends. I can share my music, but only for that reason.
Where do you see it getting unhealthy?
Unhealthy?
Yeah.
First of all, I think stuck on social media and scrolling for hours, that's
Yeah.
already unhealthy for me. Second one, it's stalking people because it's
Stalking, yeah, for
yes,
sure.
and
Stalkers, yeah.
also like to put negative comments. For me, a lot of people asking me how you deal with haters.
Yeah.
I'm not deal with them.
That was one of my questions. Yeah. I don't deal with them very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to tell that they actually motivate me to go further because I see their reaction and I'm like, it's like a drug for me. I'm like, okay, if you react like this, I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do more. It's not like gonna stop me. No,
Yeah.
never ever. But yeah, it's a lot of hate, and if we decide and we choose to use social media platforms, we need to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is hard. I have a friend of mine. He's a personal trainer, and he would talk about macros and all these like proper ways to do workouts. And then I would show him all these other personal trainers, and they're doing like backflips, and
Hmm.
they got beautiful women they're working out with. And I'm like, that what you're seeing there is not the way to be a personal trainer. But unfortunately, on social media, that's your competition, and they're going to take your competition away. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They're gonna take all your clients. So it's like when Lance Armstrong was in the Tour de France, he was taking steroids, and everyone else in the Tour de France was also taking steroids. So it becomes one of these situations, and it's an arms race, kind of like what you mentioned before. It's like to be the one girl on Instagram who isn't using FaceApp.
Yeah.
Yeah, how difficult that must be.
Exactly. And you know what? Very frustrated that people don't accept you real. They don't want to see you real, like having the wrinkles, and they want to see you perfect.
Yeah,
That's the problem of social media. That's why, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but I want people to live real life, to
yeah.
be in a moment. That's the most important.
I wish. I don't know that that's going to happen. I think it's going the opposite direction.
It's
It's pretty
crazy.
fast.
It's crazy.
You know what's really funny? You know who gets punished the worst? Girls who are actually really pretty. You want to know why?
Why?
Because like so this is a really funny thing. So I'll host a bunch of photo shoots, and when the photo shoots happen, the photographers will come in, and I'll be like, and they'll always ask me about this girl with 4 million followers, this girl with 5 million followers, this girl with 9 million followers. And I'll tell them, I was like, hey man, just like, no, like those photos are from 5 or 6 years ago. She's had a kid. Like when you see her, she's still pretty, but she's not going to look the same. And I'm like, there's this 21-year-old girl who's coming in here. She's got 3,000 followers. Like, yeah, I don't care about that. Where's the girl with the 3 million followers?
No.
And then the girls come in, and the 21-year-old walks in, and he's like, oh my God, who is that girl? She's stunning. And I was like, yo, bro, I told you. Like, the thing is with Instagram is like for a lot of people is that the organic period on that platform is over. So a lot of girls who are younger, like some of my friends that all have 4, 5, 6 million followers, they're all over the age of 30. And my friends that are like under the age of 25, they can't grow on Instagram anymore unless they're just posting reels or they're doing collabs with like huge influencers. It's the only way to grow organically. Or if you pay using Facebook Ad Manager, that's like kind of the only way to grow on there anymore. And so it's become this situation where you'll have a girl and she'll have like she'll try to grow on Instagram, and her aunt is like has 3 or 4 million followers, and she can never catch up. So she moves over to TikTok instead. And so now you see a lot of younger people moving over to TikTok instead of trying to create content on Facebook. But it is a really interesting situation because I think FaceApp punishes really beautiful women because it makes women who aren't quite as symmetrical look like them, and now you can't tell the difference.
And also people, like all people the same. You see
Yeah.
like this model and this, you can't even
You can't tell the
find
difference. They all have the
like
same.
all the
they're just-
same.
yeah. How crazy is it? I don't know if you've seen this. There are now artificial intelligence influencers. Their entire thing is made up. It's artificial intelligence. Have you seen this before, Glenn? And they're getting this. Is the crazy part. They're getting brand deals, and so it's AI chatbot. So what you're seeing is a person that doesn't exist, and they're talking using someone else's voice, and all the words come out, and it sounds normal, and none of it is real. The entire thing is computer generated, and they're getting brand deals. That's the part that is absolutely crazy. And for me, it's like if there's what you might call an OnlyFans bubble, right? A lot of girls got into OnlyFans during the pandemic, and that grew up. It's $3 billion, $6 billion revenue every year. It's what they do. And I think the thing that may end it may be these artificial intelligence. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, so are you saying like dudes can make up these chicks?
They are, and
then,
it's
like,
almost entirely dudes who are doing it. It's
and
almost
then, like,
entirely
these dudes are making
the
up
guys
these
who are
girls.
making these. Man, okay, so this one girl, she has a Telegram group, and she's a real person, but she has a Telegram group, and it's a chat bot. In her chat bot Telegram group, basically they do what's called a deep fake. So it answers as as if it is her, but it's not her, but it looks like her.
God.
and she gets 190. Have you seen this? It's like
Yeah.
$1.99 a chat, and she made 200,000 the first week or
So-
something like that.
Question is
Yeah.
it like the next Andrew Tate status? Like, pretending to be a girl, like, the webcam business?
Well, I mean,
It's
that
like
is, I mean, yeah, I
it's
mean,
basically the same thing, but with AI.
yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I do think, I mean, when you think of like your labor costs for artificial intelligence, it's significantly less, right? And then you get into other questions about legality. Like, what is it? Like, whose image am I legally able to use? If my artificial intelligence comes up with someone's face who looks identical to some girl who lives in Vladivostok or some, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way for me to. She's like this stunning girl, and she can prove, like, no, this is my face. This is exactly my face. How do you do? What's the legal ramifications for that? How do you protect your own IP at that point?
Seriously, how do you protect your own like image? That's your own brand, right?
Yeah.
We're living the brand of me.
Yeah.
So how do you protect your own image and your own brand if AI could like hack you? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Do you have any thoughts about this? I mean, this is and by the way, a lot of like a face app, I believe, is a Russian app. I believe that's
Really?
yeah. It was
I didn't know
I
that.
believe that's where it was originally created. So.
Oh.
I mean, do you have any thoughts about like which way this is going? Because you were saying, so here's the thing. I have this discussion all the time. I have tons of influencers on here. And the discussion is we need to get off our phones. And I keep looking around and I'm like, hey, guess what? You remember when you said we need to get off our phones 3 years ago? It's not happening. We're going the
Yeah.
opposite direction. What do you see as the future? Because I have this very this very dystopian view on like how things are going to go in the
Oh
future.
my God, it's gonna be worth. It's gonna
Yeah.
be crazy. I think that people gonna buy houses and like clothes in the virtual
Yeah, for sure.
world and live in this virtual
They're
world.
going to live in their NFTs.
Yes, like renting the studio somewhere and in North Hollywood, but living the life using the social media, and that's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad because I'm gonna tell you something. I think even the relationship is crazy because of the social media. Guys don't want to even like fight for the girls. I'm not talking about fight in a negative, in a toxic way, in a good way.
Mhm.
Okay, you don't want to next like the girls also acting differently like it
Mhm.
was 10 years ago, and it's all because of the social media. Yeah, and the wristbands are stronger than the relationship
Yeah.
right now. It's crazy. Glenn, you agree with me that it's actually craziness that happening right now with
Oh
the-
yeah, there's
with
nothing
the
but craziness. Like this is Mike's bread and butter. He's going to talk about this here in a minute. But like, me and Lika go back. We talked about RP stuff like years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we would talk about this stuff at the barbecues and stuff. And the one thing I love about Lika, she's like, you know what? And she's like, you make relationships work. You don't find a way to get out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Both people have to
and
work.
her story, I'll let her tell her own story, but she lived it. She doesn't talk about it. She actually lived it. When we were talking about everything from the RP stuff, she's like, yeah, I mean, guys need to be told this. She's like, this is just how you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, I also believe you come from a culture where that is not shamed as much as it is here.
Yeah, but I moved to America many years
Yeah.
ago. I could change,
Yeah.
because I was like a teenager, but still I have a different view. I can't accept what's going on right now. I'm afraid to have a kids. I'm not afraid to have a kids. I'm afraid what's gonna be with my kids, how they're gonna raise in this country. Not in this country, in this world right now, because it's crazy.
What specific things are you worried about for your
A
kids?
lot of things, even what happening with the school with the gender
Yeah, for sure.
situation, a lot of craziness.
Mhm.
That's what scares me. I don't know how to react. I'm like I want a kids, but at the same time I'm like, oh my God, I'll be like having the panic attacks all the time.
Sure.
Lika,
So-
if your son came down the stairs, if you had a baby boy, right? He comes down the stairs, like, look, mommy, I look like you. What would you do?
Why are you smiling talking about it? It's a joke or what?
It's a joke. Let's just say you had a kid, you had a son, and he walks down the stairs, right? Comes out of the room in their dress. Hey, mommy, I'm pretty. What would you say?
Anyway, let's not get anybody in trouble here. Let's keep going. So going back to the same thing, let's go back to the relationships thing. So dating apps, right? The top 10% of men on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge get 63% of the right swipes from women. The top 20% of men on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge get the top 83% of right swipes from women, which means that there's 80% of men competing for 17% of the women that are down there. And so what's happened is when you look at men, when men, and shout out to Homath. Have you ever seen Homath? Homath is the greatest. He's got these really cool charts. But men normally distribute when they look at women's female attractiveness. They say, this woman is really attractive. This woman's kind of attractive. This one is averagely attractive, and so on and so forth. And men's standards for physical beauty, while they're high, who they'll settle down with is actually even lower than themselves sometimes. For women, what they generally find is that the majority of men are not attractive. They find the majority of men to be unattractive, right? And I think in part that has happened because of social media. What it's done is it's allowed women to, whereas before they were only going to see the few men that were in their town, their small village that they grew up in back in 1850. Now they have exposure to 10,000 different men. And then it gets even crazier because initially, like, oh, they get to see all these attractive men who are high status. And now they slide in Drake's DMs. They slide in Liam Hemsworth's DMs. You know what I'm saying? They start sliding in Henry Cavill's DMs. They start sliding in Tyga's DMs. They start sliding in Jason Derulo's DMs. And then these celebrities, they write back. And the girls meet up with them. I don't know how many
Seriously?
girls. I don't know how many girls I've met in Los Angeles that tell me they've dated an athlete, or they've dated a movie star, or they dated a rapper, or they dated someone like that. And you're like, you didn't date him. You had sex with him twice. But the problem is, Lika, she had sex with him twice. In her mind, she dated him. So now what happens when she's going through the dating apps and every guy is like, well, he's not as hot as the power forward I just had sex with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The defenseman on the Los Angeles Kings is not as hot as that guy. And so that's where it's happened. The problem for women is that they have this belief about, we all want this top 16, 20% of men. And then men, what's happened because of social media? Well, a couple of things, even before social media, just pornography in general, it's made this unrealistic view for most men of women's behavior and physical appearance as far as what they can get. And it's gotten to the point where a great professor of neurobiology, Andrew Huberman, I believe it's neurobiology from Stanford, and he does this thing where he goes on and he talks about how when men watch pornography, it causes them to have their dopamine levels go up so high that actual real sex with a woman becomes like less satisfying. And so now men now become delusional. So what we have is this: when we were living in the 1850s, our only choice was like the guy in the village with us or the girl in the village that was around our same age. Those were our only chance. You understand?
Yeah.
And then maybe if a lady's husband died, then maybe she marries his brother, because that's like her only option, right? And now we live in this world where we have too many options. You know, like there's only like 2 or 3 iPhones that you can buy. Just imagine if there were like 75 different iPhones, you'd be like confusing. But like there's only 2 or 3. Like we have this problem with choice. And now we have women who are, again, the vast majority, about 70 to 80% of divorces in the United States are initiated by women. And the other thing that we found that's very different, there's some great books on this, evolutionary psychology books, is that when women cheat in a relationship, about 78% of the time they say they're less satisfied in the relationship than women who don't cheat. Well, that's pretty significant, and that makes sense. A woman dissatisfied in the relationship would want to cheat.
Both ways.
Yes, but men, when they cheat, it's 0. Men who cheat and men who don't cheat report the same satisfaction in a marriage. So they're cheating for a different reason. When women cheat, they fall in love with their affair partners 83% of the time. When men cheat, it's 29% of the time. So when men cheat, they're cheating just because of like a biological urge. And when women cheat, it's because they're generally dissatisfied with something in the relationship. And so we take that and we combine that with the delusional thing that I was talking about before, where most women find most men unattractive. And most men have this unrealistic belief of like what women are going to be like and what women are going to do. And we end up in a dating market, like you said before, and things get very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is what I told you, that too many options right now.
Yeah.
People don't want to deal. People don't want to be responsible.
Yeah.
Okay, next. That's crazy.
And I'm
It's
sure
sad.
you get DMs from dudes that are say unrealistic, crazy stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Like what? What do you get?
Oh my God, crazy! Like I'm gonna get you private jet. Just fly here to see me, to have a dinner with me.
Yeah.
Like mostly they think that they can buy me. I don't know why they think so, but it's sad.
This is such a great question. I get this all the time. You know why?
Why?
Because some girls say yes.
Oh, that's why.
And then most of them have taken a trip to Dubai by themselves at some point. They're, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of girls, now not all of them, but a lot of them say yes. And the ones that say yes, like for instance, if you're a dude and you keep they're just copying and pasting, right? I'll fly you out, fly you out, I'll fly you out, fly you out. They keep copying and pasting. If 3 girls say yes, and the guy's got the money, then from his standpoint, it was a successful strategy, right? but then he does it to you and you're like, no, I don't want to do this. But from his standpoint, it's like, yeah, of course every woman's like that because that's all they know, right? This goes back to the
But
pornography
it's
thing.
also, you're right, but it's also, it's like women's fault because they allowed men to
Mm-hmm.
think that way. They do that. They sell themselves. That's why, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy DMs. Sometimes even like proposals to get married too.
Yeah.
Like real, not
Yeah.
like bullshit. I'm telling you, I'm checking the profiles. I'm shocked. Like, are you serious? And like, I like it. I have only this chance to propose because
Yeah.
I'm never gonna see you again. Like I
Yeah,
saw
Lika
you
told
once.
me no.
Yeah, he proposed to.
There's a whole video on it.
Yeah, you guys watch it.
Have you ever gotten a message via DM where you were like, I don't know if you're single or married or whatever, but have you ever gotten a message on DM where you were like, consider like, that's interesting?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Every time they were just
Only
a loser.
professional and on professional purposes, but not like personal.
Oh yeah, just to work, but
Yeah.
not for like for someone to go out.
Oh yeah, no, never.
So Instagram is probably the number one dating app in the world right now.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
you surprised me. I never thought that.
Yeah,
I
is.
use it as a professional platform.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I was going to talk about, you had made a mention about reputation, how you should use social media to build your reputation. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, of course, because I think that I won a award, and the mayor of Hollywood gave it to me. It's called Role Model of the Year.
Yeah.
And I think that I can bring something to people, especially for the youngest lady, to show them that person who came to America with zero English, zero money, and never used any like sugar daddies and all this BS
Yeah.
to become someone. I think that it needs to be inspired for the ladies, not to like hunt and to thinking about to get this attention from celebrities, as you tell that,
Sure.
or like businessmen. So I think that if you're ambitious, you can do by yourself. You don't need to like think that you can find someone to help you. That's why I think that my platform is helping me to not only to share my music, but also to give this message to the younger ladies.
Yes. So as far as that message is concerned, you understand obviously now with Instagram, other platforms like again like OnlyFans, stuff like that, that a girl may maybe she turns 21, 22, 23 and her friends are making a boatload of money driving a G-Wagon, filming stuff on OnlyFans, and it's become very difficult for them to see another way. Can you explain the other way? Because if a man like me as a man telling a woman, hey, you shouldn't do that, it comes off as judgmental.
No, it's actually very easy.
Yeah.
I like how you say how they choose the other way. There's always options. I don't believe when people say I didn't have a chance, like a other choice to do that. I came here, I didn't have money to eat, I didn't have money to do a lot of things, but I didn't sell myself. I didn't do OnlyFans, never in my life, or something close to it. So I choose to be a cashier at the pawn shop, and I was having
What city
like,
were you in?
I live in Studio City.
Okay.
Los Angeles, in Studio City. But I was like taken in like 2 buses to get to my job in a crazy area.
Yeah.
And I was waking up at 6, and I had a little money, but I decided to choose that way, and it took me longer than someone else.
Yeah.
Don't want to wait.
Yeah.
They want to now. They think that they're not going to be pretty in 5 years, or they just think they want it now. That's the problem. I think the longer you wait, and when you're going to reach something, you're going to respect yourself first, that you did it by yourself. So I think that's my message to all the girls. Don't be like everyone else. Be different. Be someone that a lot of people going to think, I want to be like her. And returning to OnlyFans, my suggestion, no, don't do that. First of all, if you want to do your career and on a certain level, that's gonna be bad for you. So don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can understand how difficult it is for some of these girls. They come out and they have their role models are all doing this. And then you see like Grammy award winning rappers and singers, and they have OnlyFans.
But not
and
all.
every rapper. No, I agree with you. Not
Yes.
everyone, but like when you see that, like I remember, I remember a bunch of girls being like, I would never do this. This was probably 2018, 2019. And I remember, I think it was probably Lindsay Palas and Caitlin Runk. Lindsay Palas is a huge glamour model. And she was like, she has a podcast. She's like, yeah, I would never do OnlyFans. And then she does it. Chloe Ture is like, I would never do it. And then she does it. And then Caitlin Runk, who's a fitness model, and none of them pose nude. Oh, Chloe does, but she was already in Playboy. So these are like pictures from Playboy. But Kindly Myers, she starts doing it. None of them pose nude. They just pose like this regular bikini.
And I don't
pictures.
judge. They can do whatever they want. But at the same time, you said that the girls have their role models and they follow. But okay, we have a lot of celebrities that we love. They do drugs, but we don't do drugs, right? It's the same. We don't need to follow them and do the same as they do.
Just choose to have enough discipline
exactly
to not do
yes
that.
Be different. I think so.
Okay, so one of the things I like to ask my guests who come from Los Angeles, I live in Las Vegas, dating in Los Angeles versus dating in Las Vegas. You can talk about your personal stories or stories that you have from friends. What is that like? Because I feel like Los Angeles be one of the hardest places for somebody to date.
I think we need to create a reality show called Dating in Los Angeles because it's like for real reality.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Lika, let's do it.
I'm telling you, because that's a different story, guys. It's crazy. It's like crazy. First of all, I have I have my close friends. They single. They show me this crazy profiles. Like people even use the fake pictures. Then they come to the date. It's different persons.
So catfishing. These are guys that are doing this.
Guys, yes.
So I had my friend. She hit me up the other day, and she goes, "Yeah, I've been on Tinder, and then guys lying about their height." And I was like, "But you're lying about your height." It's like, we're gonna meet. Like, how does this work where you're lying about your she's like so confused, like, why are you lying about your height? It's really interesting because pretty much most of the guys I know that are very successful, a lot of them are wearing those lifts. Have you seen those Balenciaga lifts?
No, I didn't know.
They're lifts that they make you like 2.5 inches taller. Yeah, a lot of them. And these there's like shoes that are like $1,600 and they've got these fucking lifts in them.
Okay, I can blame them. A lot of girls use push-ups. You know?
For sure.
It's also a surprise for the guys.
There's also a surgery. I know a girl in Miami who just got this. She wanted to be a runway model, and they break your fibula and tibula, the two bones in your lower leg, and then they lengthen them. They do them one at a time, and then they make you like 3, 4, 5 inches taller.
Oh my god,
that's crazy.
That's crazy. But dating in Los Angeles crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's the worst the city to find your second half.
I agree with you.
Yes, like the worst city ever. Yeah.
So what are the crazy stories of yours? So catfishing. Do you have some female friends that are out there in the streets, like trying to meet somebody, and they just the other thing that I've heard from girls in Los Angeles a lot is the guy who pretends to be something that he's not.
Oh, of course. Yes, producers.
Keep going. These are my favorite stories.
Oh my god, that's true. Or that's the story. So she was dating someone like 2-3 dates, and he was like the biggest producer ever.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna put you in movies.
Yeah.
And then she found out that he was a waiter in a restaurant, and she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm helping my friend, he's the owner here. She's like, but you're a waiter. And he's like, no, it's temporary for 2 days. So that's terrible.
That's incredible.
No, but what's the problem to tell that I'm a waiter? What's the problem?
Sure. Well, because a lot of women will judge them. We just talked about if the top 20% of men on dating apps are getting 83% of the right swipes, that means, like, I will tell you this, as I've gotten older, the women who found me attractive when I was in my 20s, there were some, but not a ton. The women who find me attractive in my 40s, when I have my whole life put together, I'm a retired U.S. military officer and I have a successful business. It's just like the reactions I get from women, I'm in a relationship now, but the reactions I get from women are so completely different that I'm like, oh, these were the things women have been judging me on for the last 25 years. But I didn't know that, or I kind of knew it, but I didn't fully understand it until I was on the other side of it. So when you say that, it's like, this is where I think it's a little different. For a man, a lot of times when it comes to dating, he kind of has to be not perfect, but he has to be 80% perfect in almost every area. Meaning he can't be tall and good looking and have bad breath. And he can't be like extremely rich and good looking and then like somewhat on the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like extremely nerdy. You can't read facial cues. Whereas a woman, if she's very attractive, there's a lot of things that she can get away with dating wise that a man can't get away with. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like if I met a woman and she was like, she's just stunning and she goes, hey, I just want to let you know, I believe the earth is flat. I'd be like, she's pretty hot, I don't know,
but...
maybe, yeah, but she thinks the earth is flat. Like so that's the thing for men. When you say that, what's wrong with being a waiter? I think in Los Angeles, you would be judged quite harshly by the women there if you told people that you were a waiter. And I will bet you that this guy had told people previously that he's a waiter and couldn't get a date because of it.
That's a problem
Yeah.
because people want to be someone that they're not.
Yes.
Lies, everything. It's crazy.
Well, the
No.
other thing is Dr. David Buss does a study, 37 culture study, where they look at all these different, again, 37 different individual cultures, different countries, different ethnicities. And in every single culture, on average, women were more interested in a man's ability to procure resources than a man was interested in a woman's. 100% more, meaning 2 to 1. And in reality, it's probably more than that. As like my girlfriend, I don't care how much money she makes. I really, when we started dating each other, it was never a consideration to me whether or not she was wealthy. In fact, I didn't care how tall she was. Like, it wasn't, those things weren't interesting to me.
Okay, can I ask you a personal question? So, what made you want to date her?
For her specifically, I mean, when I met her, I just couldn't believe how beautiful she was. It was a bikini competition in Mexico, and I met her, and she, I knew, to me, she was the most attractive girl there, but I knew she wasn't going to win for 2 reasons. Number one, she had a mass removed from her boobs, and she had a boob job, like a pretty big boob job. And I was like, that doesn't do very well in these pageants for you to have a boob job that big. And number two, she was not flirting with any of the judges. Judges were talking to her, and she's from Arkansas. She wasn't giving them shit. They would talk to her. She would talk right back to them. Just whereas other girls who were pageant girls are like super friendly, she was very much herself. And I was like, I met her, and I was like, you're the hottest girl here, but you're not going to win this because you don't play by the rules. And I love that. So I was like, you're mine. Forget the rest.
Oh, that's good. So you were attracted not only for her face,
No.
you like her personality.
Yeah, it wasn't just that. And then later on, once we started dating, before we became official, before she moved in with me, it was a situation where like it wasn't just like I thought she was loyal. Like I legitimately, and I'm saying this, I'm not kidding, believe that this woman would stab someone for me. Like I legitimately, there is a Glock 17 in my dresser, and she would shoot someone for me without any hesitation. And I was like, that level, especially today with the women the way they are today, that level of loyalty, man, I can look past, and obviously she's stunning. That level of loyalty, that was the part of the reason why.
That's the main important thing.
We had some other commonalities. We're both from the South. She's an Arkansas Razorbacks fan. I'm a Texas Longhorns fan. So we like college football. There was a couple other things like that. We're both very athletic. We both work out 7 days a week. We both play basketball, stuff like that.
You have many things in common. That's important. Yeah.
And we both think women are very, very pretty. So that also helps. But yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice.
Yes.
Can we talk more about it?
For sure. What do you want to talk about?
No, just tell me, what do you mean?
She likes women. She's been in relationships with women also. Yeah.
But it means that you're not going to be jealous if you know that she.
Last night when we were at Zook, this girl looks at my girlfriend. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm obsessed with your girlfriend." I took the girl's hand, put it on my girlfriend's leg, and then just like walked off.
Okay.
I was like, and I go like this. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not the least bit jealous.
But do you think that's something then going to make your relationship more stronger?
I do. Yeah.
You think that it's
because it's something else we share. It would be like if we read a book together or watch, we have a favorite. One of the things that I think couples can do right now that actually works, and I know this is going to sound kind of counterintuitive, but like pick a show you guys can obsess over. Watch a great show together, a great show, not a garbage show, like a terrific show that is really interesting. Like Game of Thrones, I think is a great show for a man and a woman to watch together, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of like get obsessed over the characters. I think it's great. There's things that you can share together. For us, that's one of the things that we kind of share.
What if like in 5 years, she can ask you to share a man together with you?
It probably wouldn't work with me. I just don't think I'd be comfortable with it.
No.
I think because it would erode my attraction. I think that would probably be the issue.
But you would never do it for her? You can't do it for her?
Because the difference is this, right? If it was a situation where she wasn't attracted to women and I was making her do it and she wanted to break up with me, I would be like, that makes sense to me. But that's not it. She likes women more than she likes men. I'm not
okay.
So I'm not asking for like a sacrifice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I was asking for a sacrifice, then I think it would be different. In this situation, there's not a situation where she's like coming to the relationship like, you know what I'd like? Multiple men. She's never told me that. And we've had that discussion.
I can't even imagine how many men are jealous to you. I mean, how many jealous
the term is polygyny. Yeah, that's
so because it's interesting.
Yeah,
Not a lot of couples had that.
Well, the thing is for me, like that's the only kind of relationship I wanted. So I was very upfront about that in the beginning, and another reason why I wanted to be with her is because she was open about that from the beginning. But it's not like if we weren't together, I wouldn't have a girlfriend. It's not like there'd be some other girl to replace her. She's the only girl I wanted to be in a relationship with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like if I wasn't dating Kylie, I would not be with some other girl. I would just be single.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, Mike, I think it would be really cool if you showed Lika the delusion calculator.
Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah, could you do that with her?
We could. You know, I'd love to show her the fucking home math thing. That thing is real crazy. So
What do you
yeah,
wanna show?
huh? Actually, I mean, it's just her. We could
Yeah,
do this.
we'll just go based
You
off
want
of
to try
her.
it? Okay, we could
Let's
try
just
it.
do it off
Okay.
of her.
What? What are you gonna do that? What do you want?
Just watch. Just watch.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. So here's the thing. A lot of times, what'll happen is, and I don't want you to answer with your answer. What I would like for you to answer is think about your like 5 closest female friends.
Oh, okay.
And then I want
you know who you need to, you know who we're talking about now.
Okay, you got
okay?
it. Okay, so I want you to answer for them.
Okay.
What they think, and then we're going to talk about percentages, because when we talk about, remember we said about delusion, what happens is a woman is dating a guy who she thinks is really good looking, smart, or whatever, and she doesn't realize how many other women are trying to get with that same guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like men at the top have infinite options, and the rest of men have 0.
Yeah.
Right? 26% of men under the age of 30 are virgins. Right? 33% of men.
What?
33% of men under the age of 30 have had 0 sexual partners in the last year. Yes.
Serious.
Yeah, you didn't know this?
Dead serious.
Yeah.
No, you're joking.
No. So do you remember what I said before? 80% of men are deemed unattractive on social media apps.
Yeah.
So a third of men have no luck with women whatsoever. And it seems interesting, right? It seems, but like you also live in Hollywood. You're around that scene. Those men are attractive and wealthy and have status. But if we go to like Temecula and to the Walmart there, and you say, okay, who's fucking this bartender, or who's fucking this cashier? You're like, oh yeah, nobody. If we go to Jack in the Box, you're like, so you see the guy managing the Jack in the Box, who's fucking the man? You'd be like, oh well, no one's fucking him. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, that's where the 33% of men, because most women don't even see those men. You don't even like notice that they're there, right? So this is the calculator, and I'm just curious, like what you think these numbers are. So what I'm going to do is answer for your friends. Just think of your 5 closest friends, and then you're just going to answer for them. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing is age. What is the age range do you think your friends would be attracted to?
Yeah, are we talking about guys right now?
Guys,
Okay.
your female friends. So your 5 closest female friends,
Okay.
and then we're going to say the age range of men that they're attracted to.
I would say 35, 45.
35, 45. Good. All right, let's do that. So we're going to go 45
35, 45.
to 35. There we go. Now, I have to ask this. We're excluding married men.
What is that?
We're
What?
we're not including married men. They can't pick for married
Oh,
men.
no,
Okay.
no.
Now, it's really funny because the number of women who actually date married women is way higher than the number of women who say they will date married men.
No, it's not good.
Okay, agreed.
I don't
just
I
interesting.
don't respect that.
Beautiful. We don't care what race, or is there a particular race?
No.
We don't care what race. So we're
No.
going to pick any race. What is the minimum height? Remember your friends. Don't lie. This is the one where everybody, all the girls start grimacing. Be real. What is there's no cameras on us right now. You guys are having fucking martinis or drinking mimosas at brunch, and you're talking about he's too short. What is too short? What is the minimum height for the guy?
Minimum 5'10". It's
Minimum 5'10". There we go. Okay. The average North American male is 5'9". So we're going to go 5'10". Got it? Okay. Now, here's another one. I have to tell you this because it's going to seem obvious, but it's not. We're excluding obese men, correct? Or would we allow heavy, fat men?
No.
No fat men.
No.
Okay.
No, like let's be honest, guy. Who wants to date a fat man?
Okay. But he's got to be 5'10", right?
Yeah.
And he's between the age of 35 and 45, and he's not obese, right? Ready? Here's another one. Be honest. Not you, your friends. Minimum income. See, look at the look on her face. It's so great. We got to clip. Shar, we got to clip this. This is so great. What minimum income per year?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah. Your friends, but it's not you. Obviously,
No, not me. I'm not
obviously
talking
you
about
don't.
me.
Obviously, you don't care about money at all.
I don't care.
But
yes.
your
I have a
friend,
different
five
story.
closest friends. What are they? What's their minimum income they're going to search
Okay, let's say 100K.
for? 100K.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 100K. That puts you in Century City, maybe. You can't quite live in Hollywood, right? All right, cool. So we're talking about a man who is 35 to 45. He's not married. Okay, so we're excluding all married men. We're excluding we're excluding anyone under 5'10". We're excluding obese men, and we're excluding men that make under $100,000 a year. Now, so my question for you is, what percentage of men in the United States do you think that is?
I would say handsome. Not
Forget
a lot.
handsome. Just those things we said. We said not married, any race, 5 tall, 5 feet 10, not obese, and earning $100,000 a year.
40%.
40% of men.
Yeah.
40% of men. Yeah, it's less than 1% of men. It's less
Seriously?
than 1%. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So let's
God.
go through the problems that you had here.
Why? What's the problem with all that I mentioned?
So when you said not married and not obese, you excluded almost all men.
Yeah.
Like 40 something, what percentage? 75% of Americans are obese.
Really?
Yeah, 75% of Americans are
That's
fat.
crazy.
It's 70%.
Oh my
It's
God, I never
70%.
thought about
70%.
it,
Yeah,
but
the average
no.
guy is carrying about 30 pounds overweight. The average woman is 173.
Yeah, the average
pounds.
woman in the United States is
Guys, but
170
it's hard.
pounds.
You know, you're talking to me. I live in Hollywood. Everyone handsome.
Mhm.
It's so hard.
Yeah,
to
right. So, but
judge.
you thought
Yeah.
40% of men.
But
Now,
it's
ready? Let's keep
crazy.
going. Ready? Okay. So, when you say not married, you're actually excluding a ton of men. And guess what? The good-looking men who are fit and make a lot of money, guess what they all are? They're married. And you excluded them. You see the problem there? It's a huge, which is reason why. So, if you ask women, what percentage of you would consider dating a married man? It's going to be like 6% of women. If you look at how many of them actually dated a married man, it's going to be like in the mid 40s, and they didn't know he was
Wow.
married. Right. All right. So here's the thing. I'm going to ask you. So when we talk about any race, with any race, so that's everyone, 5'10", right? What percentage of the population is over 6 feet tall? What do you think?
I don't know, but I thought I thought I was too nice to say 5'10".
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm like better 6'0", but
Yeah.
5'10".
So what percent? What 6 feet tall? What percentage of the
I
of
don't know,
men are
but
6
not
feet
a
tall?
lot. Not a lot. I think like I don't know, but 20%.
14% of men are 6 feet
14.
tall. Yeah. 6'3", it's 1% of men.
Yeah.
I hear women all the time say, I'm not going to date a guy under 6'3". I hear it all the time. Ready? The next thing I'm going to ask you is not obese. Again, we said that's like 25% of men that are left. Okay.
Ugh,
Okay. And then the last one, $100,000 a year. Okay. What percentage of men do you think make more than $100,000 a year?
Not a lot.
Yeah. So it's I think you're in the top 26%, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
top 20.
Top 10%, top 10% I think is like around 200,000 a year, and top 1% is 600,000 a year. Top 0.1% is 3.2 million a year. That's what they make. So when you're in Los Angeles, or if you talk to one of those guys who has a house up in the hills, if he makes $400,000 a year, he's in the top like 2% of men as far as wage earners are concerned. And but that's all you meet, right? Now, here's the thing. All these ladies that you just spoke about, they have to choose from less than 1% of men. And if you said, hold on,
that's why they're single.
Well, thank you. But here, let's go back and let's do, you said 6 feet tall. Let's do 6 feet tall. Let's do everything that you just said, but we'll do 6 feet tall. And by the way, I don't think any of your female friends would have said 100,000. I don't think a single one of them. I think every one of them would have said higher than 100,000.
I was too loyal, right?
Yeah.
You were being generous.
Yeah.
Is what you were being.
Right? If they're 6 feet tall, 0.45% of men.
Oh my
Like
God.
45 or like 0.4% of men are in that. So what we can do instead is a male delusional calculator. This is going to be good. Male delusional calculator. Ready? Now, I'm going to do the same thing you did. You want to do it with me?
I'll
Glenn?
do it with you.
We'll do it with you, Glenn. Okay. So what is our ideal age? What do you think?
You know what? We're going to say 25 to 30.
Well, my girlfriend's 21. So
Okay, we'll do 21 to
I'm
30.
going to put 21. And to be fair, I thought she was like 23 when we met, but she's 21. And I'll say that my upper limit, I have dated someone who's like 34. So
Yeah.
Okay.
When I met Nicole, she was 32. So
There you go. So we're going to exclude married.
We'll exclude married.
Men don't give a fuck.
We don't
at all,
care.
But we're going to exclude married. We're going to exclude mothers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll
We're going to exclude
moms.
mothers, but a lot of men don't
Men
care.
don't
either.
care.
They
Men
don't care. Right? Any race.
Anyways.
Any race, dude. Like my homeboy said, if they're brown, he's down.
Yep.
If they're a minority, they're his priority. Right? Height.
You know what? We're gonna say, nothing above what, 5'11"?
I've absolutely dated a 6 foot woman.
Yeah, same here. So
I'm going to go 4'11" to 6 feet.
Yeah.
We don't care about.
we don't
height.
care about your
See,
height.
the advantage we have is we don't care about height or money. The two most important things women care about are height and money. And the two things that men absolutely don't care about are height and money. Right? Isn't that weird? Okay. Exclude obese and overweight. Obviously. We're going to do that. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then minimum income.
Don't care. 0.
We don't care. Remember, it was point.
It's only you don't care, guys. But a lot of guys
I would say
care.
I would say fewer than 5% of men actually would have a beautiful woman and say, I'm not going to date her because she doesn't make any money. The vast majority of men who are looking for a long-term partner who he's going to have kids with do not care how much money she makes. There are exceptions. A male cardiologist may want to marry a female cardiologist for sure. That definitely happens. A male gymnast may want to marry a female gymnast, and they have some level of income for sure. But I think that has more to do with profession than income.
Yeah.
But Mike, how many guys marry the waitress or like marry the
like they
marry the
yeah.
salon, tech?
All right. So what percentage of women do you think that we talked about not married, no children, any race, between 4'11" and 6 feet tall, not overweight, and any income?
A lot.
It's
More.
10%.
10%. Yeah.
So
More than.
So the point is, you said 6 feet tall before. We have 20 times as many options as women in the same category.
Yeah.
But women don't realize that, and they're sharing men and don't know they're sharing men. You live in Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying is true.
Yeah.
Have you seen there's a group on Facebook called Are We Dating the Same Guy? Have you seen this?
No.
It's they do it city by city, and all these women go in there and they show pictures the guys are dating, and they say, "Are we dating the same guy?"
Oh, so they're sharing the same guy.
Yes. Yeah, because that's what's happening. Here's another stat that I think is phenomenal. 63%, somewhere in that, I could be wrong, it could be like 67% of men under the age of 30 are single.
Yeah, you're right.
34% of women. Well, what's that about?
Okay, guys, what about percentage about guys cheating on girls?
Beautiful. It's about 20% of men in relationships cheat and 13% of women. That number is closing. It used to be very different. Women were way behind. Now women are catching up.
Women at 7% at one point?
Yeah, and now they're up to 13%. Yes.
But are you sure?
They doubled within the last.
Are
Yeah,
you
so-
guys
so- so here-
sure it's
so-
20%?
So here's what you're asking. If we're talking about rich men who are handsome, who live in Beverly Hills, it's obviously much higher than 20%. That's where you live. But if we're talking about guys who live in a farm on Des Moines, Iowa, no,
They're not cheating at all.
They're not cheating at all because the majority of men don't have the option to cheat. When you live in Miami, you live in Los Angeles, you live in Las Vegas, all the men here are male stripper / VIP host / restaurant owner / movie producer. So they're either exceptionally rich or exceptionally handsome or both. And you start thinking that's all men, and it's not. Those men do cheat. There's a book. Well, I love this book. It's by it's called The Intelligence Paradox by Satoshi Kanazawa. He's a professor of economics and evolutionary psychology. And he talks about how as men increase in IQ, their likelihood of cheating increases. Men with higher IQ have a higher incidence of cheating. The other thing that's really crazy.
Have you ever cheated on your,
I've
not
never-
this one, but
never
in
cheated.
general,
Never
in your
cheated
life?
with anyone. Never cheated with anyone. No.
Never.
No.
Wow.
There was a situation where we'd broken up and she was seeing someone else, but I'd never had a conversation with her about us breaking up. And then I was seeing someone else. And then we finally met up because I was like, I didn't even want to speak to her. And we met up and I was like, hey, just want to let you know, officially, I want you to let you know, obviously we've broken up. And I've already started seeing someone else. Because I didn't tell you we broke up, even though obviously clearly we broke up because we weren't
Yeah.
following each other. She had a boyfriend. I was seeing someone else, but I didn't tell her. Because I feel like the it's still a contract,
Yeah.
and so that was the only time. But no, I've never cheated on a woman. No. In that situation though, like, do a lot of guys do it? Yes. I think what you'll find is a lot of guys now, what they'll do is instead say, I just am not interested in being in a committed relationship, so they don't have to cheat. Or they'll just straight up tell the girl, hey, I'd rather just see someone else. I think you'll see that higher status men will do that and lower status men will try to cheat, or they just won't have any options to cheat whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the cheating you were concerned about, you were asking before, it's about 20% of men and 13% of women. But there's a lot of there's another thing that where women caught up was average body count. Like women actually surpassed men. Whereas was generally women under the age of 30 would have had fewer sexual partners than men. No, women now are about at 7 and men are at 5. That's where they are. It's like 5.3 and 7.1 or something like that.
Well, like, isn't also the fact that like this is all self-reported. The cheating is self-reported. So how many women are going to be like, "Oh yeah, I cheated"?
Yeah.
Like,
well, the thing is, the way you get past that is anonymous reporting. So the book one of the books that talks about this is called Why Women Have Sex by Cindy Meston and David Buss. Cindy Meston is a professor of human sexuality at UT Austin, and David Buss is obviously the foremost evolutionary psychologist in the world, and he's at UT Austin. And they wrote a book about this, and they talk about I think it was several thousand women they interviewed, but it was all anonymous, no names, and so that made it
secretly they asked.
Yeah.
them.
And the
Yeah.
thing that made it so great is the answers that women were given were so lascivious. They were so like, well, Becky keeps fucking the new guy. And I was tired of always meeting new guys and Becky fucking them, my roommate. So the next time I met Steve, I decided I'm going to fuck him before Becky did. Like that was what they said in the book. And I was like, okay, I believe them. I don't care what you say about that person is telling the truth. It was funny. It was Dan Bilzerian who told me this one time. He goes, if you meet a girl and she tells you she's like 30 years old and she's been with 3 guys, you're like, you're probably lying. But if you meet a girl who's like 25 and she says, yeah, I've been with 84 dudes, you're like, she's probably telling the truth. She's probably not lying. You know?
Hilarious.
Did you have any other questions about that? About like the this whole concept of like socioeconomics when it comes to dating is like that's all my show is about usually. But like, yeah, it's
So
really interesting.
from now I'm gonna start watching his shows. It's so I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about the statistics.
Well,
to be
Lika,
honest.
what we need to do is have you on Access Vegas one of these nights.
We definitely need to
We need to have you come back here on Thursday and do Access Vegas with him and Rollo Tomasi.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
So you mentioned about you won an award for being a mentor role model. Did you have any role models coming up?
Yeah, but it depends. And like my acting is one role model, and my music is different, and my life different. Like in what area? Tell me.
Did you have like was there any like for me there were probably some athletes that I looked up to, some authors, some movie stars, stuff like that. I remember being a little kid when I was 11. I loved Hulk Hogan. Yeah. I loved Troy Aikman from the Dallas Cowboys. Right? Were there any people growing up? Were there any Russian models, tennis players, anybody like that you looked up to?
No, not
No?
Russian role models for sure. Because even when I was little, I always watched like Hollywood movies.
Okay.
All this.
Was it
like,
who were your favorite Hollywood actors?
So I'm gonna tell you something that my role model is my best friend. You know this movie, How to Lose Guy in 10 Days?
Okay, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
You never seen that?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my
No.
God, it's all
All
about
right, well,
relationship.
me and
You have
Kylie are
to
gonna watch.
see that.
Kylie, we're gonna watch that tonight. Okay.
It's legendary.
Lika,
Okay.
wasn't she at the dinner for the
Yeah.
the music video release?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
I met
course.
her.
Christine Peters. So Christine Peters is the one who created this movie,
Yeah.
and she is my role model, and
Yeah.
she's my best friend.
Okay.
She helping in my career, and it's both. Like, so I like the way she thinks, and I take a lot of from her. And I'm blessed that she became my best friend. So yeah, she's my role model, and she's the very famous and respected person in Hollywood.
It is really like I take this for granted, or I try to never take this for granted. But like Rollo Tomasi was one of my favorite authors, and I do a show with him, and it's still like I have to pinch myself sometimes that I do a show with Rollo because he's been writing books for 2013 was the first book. But he had been writing the blog posts in that book since like 03. So for
and
20
the
years.
funny thing is because I should have the same thing because like I read all his books.
Yeah.
And then now I'm working with him.
Yeah.
Like
It
it's
is
crazy.
It is
That's
crazy.
great. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that does happen.
Lika
sometimes.
was my role model too, but she told me no when I tried to date
Try
her.
to marry her.
Yeah.
We're recording this, right, man?
Yeah, it's totally
she
recording.
can't say this kind of stuff.
I can feel the smell of divorce here.
Yeah.
Stop it.
All right, so let's talk about something. I have another topic I want to go over, which is the concept of monogamy. And a lot of people, the traditionalists, believe monogamy is the only way, especially like say fundamental Christians or people who are Islamic or Jewish or something like that. There's a lot of basis for it in religion, although in Islam, obviously, you can have 4 wives, so it's a little different. And then there's a lot of people who are like, well, monogamy isn't really what people want anymore. There's Dr. David Buss, he says something to this effect, that the average human experience is periods of monogamy interspersed in a lifetime of polygamy. And I'm just curious, like, what do you think, seeing the dating scene now, what do you think the probability of somebody being able to stay monogamous is?
I think that most people just don't know what monogamous means.
Okay.
So, of course, definitely. And remember, Glenn, we already talked about it, that I'm a monogamous. And
Okay.
it's very hard to be monogamous in this world because people just don't care. So speaking about that, I think there's just people want to have choices.
Mm-hmm.
They maybe don't want to choose. They want to have options. That's why there is no values. Yeah, for me it's important. For me, I can't maybe it's like it's a crazy thing, but I like one dish, and if I like this dish, I can eat it forever.
I eat Chipotle every single day.
But you
Shout
can
out to
you can add a little bit dress into it, right?
Yes.
But you still
That's when you
enjoy
bring
it.
other people in.
That's you
No,
said
no,
that.
I didn't say that.
You
That's not what
said
you.
that.
That's what you do.
It's your thing.
That's it. That's your
It's
thing. That's it. I just passed it on to you. Is that what's going on?
You bring
Dude,
this energy.
yeah, whoever your partner is watching this shit is like, hey, listen, I like that Michael
He's like,
Sartain
"Damn,
guy.
This guy is the guy.
Let's do this.
Oh yeah.
Like, this guy is that guy.
Let's go do it. Yeah, so it's difficult, right, for a lot of people, like what you said. I think there's a huge difference now between marriage and monogamy. And like a lot of people, when they hear monogamy, they think, well, the ultimate end of it is marriage, but marriage fails so often in like westernized Protestant countries, just in general. And we talk about the United States, but it's pretty much every Protestant Western country. And I'm including like the Scandinavian countries, and I'm including obviously England isn't specifically Protestant; they're Anglicans, but like they're not Catholics. And so, whereas in the Catholic religion or the Catholic denomination of Christianity, they don't. You have to annul your first marriage, and they don't believe that in divorce. Protestants do, and in these countries, you see marriage as an institution doesn't do very well. And so, when people think of monogamy, they just say marriage, but it's not really marriage anymore. Marriage is like long-term dating now, right? If you make it 10 years, man, you're lucky. And marriage almost seems like it's almost like this platform to start having children. And then we, she gets DMs from her ex from high school, and he starts like looking at some girl with a big fake ass on Instagram. And then next thing you know, they split up. And so I think it's significantly more difficult. And like you said before, I think what the problem is this. You have two people who think they deserve to be happy instead of working for it. I don't think anyone deserves shit. I think you have to make it happen. You have to have two people working for it.
Oh my God, you said the brilliant thing. No one wants to work on relationship. That's the huge problem. I don't know why. People just don't want to do that. I don't know. Maybe they not love their partner enough.
Well, here's the thing. Being single is a lot more fun now.
But you can have fun. You having fun with
your
girl.
I love it. No, my girlfriend's
you're
terrific.
Not single.
But like I said before, if I wasn't with this girl, I'd be single. Because my single life was fucking awesome. Okay. It was terrific. And it's not just awesome because there's other girls. It's awesome because like I can rescue animals. I live on a high rise on the strip in Las Vegas. I can play video games, go to the movies with my friends, travel all over the world. You know what I'm saying? I've got a pretty cool job. Like being single is pretty awesome. And I think that may be part of the issue too, is where people can go back to that.
Everything that you just mentioned, you can do with your partner.
You can. But in the 1850s, if you were single, if you're a Russian peasant, or if you're somebody out in the Western frontier in the United States back in the 1850s, or you're a farmer out in Russia, or you're a farmer in the United States, if you didn't have a partner and a lot of children, you were going to die. Meaning marriage was an institution for survival and procreation. And now it's like, well, I don't need, women are like, I don't need a man. I make $300,000 a year. I live in a gated community and I own a shotgun. I don't need a man anymore.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it means that she needs men only for good.
Yeah.
But we don't need men for good. We need a partner that's going to be just with us to complete us.
Right.
That's all that we need.
Yeah.
Not only about money.
Well, it's not just about money. It's like protection. Right, physical
Everything,
protection.
Yeah. So like
procurement.
Mental support, emotional, like the best friend, and travel together, have kids together. I don't know, a lot of things together.
Yeah,
it's better to be with someone than alone.
Well, I mean, I personally agree with you. I'm just saying, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I just see so many people. They're like, I can just watch porn, and like, here's the thing, it's gonna get even worse. I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna get even worse. Because yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. So there's this great book. Everyone should read it. Actually, don't read it. It's gonna make you very depressed. It's by Ray Kurzweil. It's called The Singularity Is Near, and he came out with a new book. Anyone want to guess what it's called? The Singularity Is Nearer. Right, that's his new book. Ray Kurzweil is a futurist, meaning his whole thing is he's a writer, he's a journalist, but he writes about what he thinks the future is going to be. He makes predictions based on science. And he had two predictions at the end of his book, which are just horrific if you think about them. The first prediction is the idea that, in order for you to have a zygote, a baby, you need 23 alleles from the father and 23 alleles from the mother. So you need an XX chromosome and an XY. You need XX and XY chromosome to come together, and those 23 alleles make 23 chromosomes, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's a possibility you may be able to take two XXs and put them together, meaning women would have babies with women. Okay, yeah. See the look on your face. And so you may have a point in the future where you may have women being able to just, instead of being pregnant through sperm and ovum, being pregnant just basically made in a test tube where they fuse not fuse. I don't know what the word would be for combining alleles, but whatever that is to create a zygote based on two female female sets of DNA. Isn't that scary? They wouldn't need men. That's the first point. The second point, where it gets even more fun, check this out, is that the idea of a man having sex with a robot is so creepy and weird to me. And it probably is to you too, right? But you know what else is creepy and weird? Our ancestors, the amount of times that you and I probably take a shower every week, they'd be like, why do you shower so much? What's wrong with you? The fact that we cook all our food, the fact that we live indoors, the fact that, we have these haircuts, our ancestors would look at us and be like, what's wrong with you? Why are you like this? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh my God. It's the end of the world, guys.
So what happens? Hold on. So what happens like 100 years from now when you have a kid who grows up, he goes through puberty, and then he has a sex robot that his friends buy him when he's like 16 years old, and he's having fun with his sex. Maybe he has like 4 sex robots, right? And they can change appearance. And then when he turns like 18, he goes out, to a club, or he turns 21. He goes to a bar and he meets a real woman. And he's like, hey, you're cool. But he's been with his sex robots. He's like, hey, do you want to go on a date or whatever? And she's like, no, you're too short. And he's like, fuck this. I'm going to go have sex with my robots again. Right? Like, what happens then? I think we think it's weird now. I think in the future, we're going to basically have 2 different species, men and women.
I hope it's going to happen like when we're all going to die. Guys, you don't want to see that.
Like, I want to raise my children different. I think my kids are going to be superheroes because I'm going to raise them in a traditional way. But like, you're right. It is.
No, it's crazy.
It's
crazy, guys. And it's not funny. I don't like that. I don't want my kid, my son to have fun with the robot.
Let's go have fun with the robot, Mom. Sorry, Mom. I can't come down for dinner right now.
Like, like
I'm with Betty Boop, the robot.
John Finch, it has this thing about robot dogs, right?
No.
Yeah, you should hear John Finch, the fighter, talk about robot dogs. And we brought this up about robot chicks. He's like, it's happening.
Of course. Because the thing is, right now, if I were to look at a robot woman, I'd be like, well, that kind of looks like a woman, but I'm not going to get erect from a fucking robot. It's weird. Things made out of plastic. But the thing is, like, if you got like, okay, just imagine a guy from 1823 looking at a pair of fake boobs. He'd be like, what the fuck is that? What is wrong? Or a labiaplasty. Like, what are these tattoos on all these women? Like, they would look at us and be like, what the fuck is wrong with these women? That's how they would look. And then now we look at these women like, oh, that's normal to us. It's not that big of a deal, right? It's just, then what I'm saying is 100 years from now, I think there's going to be, the kids will just be like, oh yeah, it's a robot. Of course I fucked a robot. What do you mean? It's just normal. And we'll be like, dude, what's wrong with you? Why are you fucking a robot? But like, it's just going to be normal to them. Again, I'm not saying I feel this way. I see the way the Overton window works with Homo sapiens.
Do you think they're going to take robots to the dates?
I think at some point they will. I think that'll happen before it's actually mainstream. You will see people like trying to fit that into the LBGT community. They'll throw an R in there for a robot. They'll be like dating 2 or 3 robots, and they'll be like, hey man, you know what I did with my robots today? Anything I wanted. You know what they said to me? Nothing. They don't talk back.
I mean, are we already seeing that though?
Huh?
Are we kind of already seen that with the T's?
With the I mean, like not really.
Like you got dating coaches going around saying like, hey, yeah, a hot T that's a 10 is better than a woman that's like a 1,
Yeah, but that dude, that dating coach you're referring to, has also got some mental disorders. So like, I know the one.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like, we got T's winning women awards.
Yeah.
Right. For like Women of the Month or Women of the Year awards. And it's just like, wait, are women sucking that bad that these guys are becoming better women than men?
Isn't this fun, Lika? Aren't you glad we learned all about the world? And
oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm a little bit frustrated because I'm just thinking about the robots and all this bullshit, and I'm like, damn, it's scary, guys. It is scary.
Okay. Your singing career that's happened recently, you said you're an award-winning producer. Can you go into that? So there's a lot of people who are watching it. Again, the reason why I asked you the questions about the event planning is because I have a lot of clients that are event planners, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here who would like to learn how to break into the music industry. So what was your secret? Like, how were you able to get in there so fast and become this accomplished?
I think that passion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely passionate person in everything, and if I want something, I reach something. So I just decided, it was pandemic time, hard time for everyone. And I'm like, I'm going to be a recording artist. I'm going to win the awards. I'm going to do music. People going to love my music. Everything happened. And the most important thing that Charlie Walk, Charlie Walk?
I'm not sure. No.
So Charlie Walk is the biggest producer, music producer. He produced like all the big names, and he had these labels, everything. So if you guys Google him, you'll understand who Charlie Walk is. He believed in me, and we started working together. And I was a little bit shy, confused because I have an accent. I'm Russian, and it's a lot of things going on around Russian people. But he's like, "You talented, you're amazing. You're gonna do that, and let's work together." So he created this name Lika O
Mm.
because he decided to make it Lika O. He brought great people who work with me making hits, and I think that I was just lucky enough to got right people next to me. That's the most important thing. Just to have right people next to you, professional right people.
Wow. And then you chose Glenn to be in your music video. Why?
Why?
He's just so attractive. Is that what happened?
When the casting director sent me his pictures, and she's like, "What do you think about this actor?" I'm like, "I think that he's a bad guy." That's it.
And it turned out that's been proven all since then. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
And then we get in the hot tub.
There we get the hot tub. Nice. So that's incredible. If we were to like look at your insights right now on Instagram, the majority of your following is Russian speaking.
No,
No?
it's actually only 30%.
It's only 30%.
Yes, I have a lot of Europeans and Americans.
Your songs are all in Russian?
No, just one song in
Just
Russian.
one song in Russian. So
Yeah.
the rest of them are in English?
Yes,
Okay.
and Spanglish.
In Spanglish. You do
Yeah.
some Spanglish songs. Oh, I would have to
Yes.
check that out.
Yes, please.
Okay, awesome. And then
Is that the newest song? The newest song.
It's actually previous, The Way I Move. It's with this, and before Dolce Vita. And the recent one, Grow. No, it's the one that I did with Charlie Walk. You guys need to check it out. It's my
Okay.
signature song. No one else can make you grow like Lika O.
no one else can make you grow like Lika O. There you go. Except for a robot.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you had me get the motorcycle for?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. Awesome. What do you have coming up in the future?
So, guys, I just came back from Germany and Turkey because I did the concerts there. I do a lot of traveling. I perform in Barcelona, where I perform like all over United States. So I'm traveling to Europe again. Then I have a concert in New York. So my passion is to create more music and to do the world tour. It's happening in the next few years.
Nice.
And also, I'm going to tell you, Glenn, you didn't know that, but I'm going to do my own show in Vegas, Lika O show.
And I'm the producer, right?
Oh, we can talk about it.
Like
There we go.
what kind of venue are you looking for?
So yes, and you see, this is the right place. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
You want to talk right now, or
Yeah.
maybe
No, for sure. I'm
behind
like,
the
what kind of show are you doing? Just you singing the whole time? Is it a variety
No,
show? Like, what do you?
I don't like just me singing
Okay.
on a stage. I like shows, and
Okay.
I like everything with the huge, amazing dancers, with a big screen, with a lot of things. I can share my idea. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Yes, it's gonna be an amazing show. It's actually not. It's gonna be dancing show with the DJ and my show, and behind the scene, not behind the scene, but in between of my shows on the screen, they're gonna talk about my life. It's like a movie, which is gonna be
Yeah.
like a movie, concert show, and the dancing show with
So
the
it's
DJ.
kind of immersive too. They kind of get this immersive, like what's life behind the
And
scenes with
no
Lika.
one did it before because I have
Yeah.
a few ideas, and it's gonna be wow. Yeah, so you can be involved.
You already know I'll be involved.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah, it's done, right? We're
It's
already
done.
like this.
We've been like that for years.
Yes.
All right. Incredible. So you're gonna move to Vegas.
It's maybe,
There you
yes. I
go.
like Vegas.
You know what? I like
I
no
love-
state income tax. How about that?
Exactly.
Can't
Yes.
say that's one you can't debate. California. Try to
Ex-
debate that one.
Exactly.
We got we got no traffic.
Yes.
Uh,
I like
Unless it's like round 4.
Yeah, there's a little bit of traffic. All right, so cool. So that's what you got coming up, and then your movie and your podcast.
my which what
I'm
one?
kidding. I'm messing with you.
No, but actually I am in a movie.
There you go. What movie?
How you know?
I
I'm
just
like,
guessed.
How you know that?
I just took a guess.
Well, let me just say, so when I was casting for my first film, like the film that I'm raising funds for,
Yeah.
I already gave Lika a role.
Did you?
Like we've been talking about mind dates for 2 years now.
yeah.
So we're still raising the funds for mind dates, and Lika's gonna be in that film.
Mhm.
She's gonna be the
I'm
bitch.
patiently waiting.
Lika's gonna be the boss bitch.
And then,
I'm ready for it.
and then when do you start your dating coaching? When does that start?
Dating coaching?
Yeah, when are you be a dating coach? When
You
does that
want
happen?
me to be a dating
I'm
coach?
just I'd be interested to hear what you have to say.
Oh wow, I like it. I never thought about it to be a dating coach. Do you think I will be a good dating coach, Glenn?
I think you have very good insight to help women out.
Yeah.
You can help women be good women for the good guy, not the bad guy,
Oh,
for the good
okay.
guy.
You see?
There you go. I don't disagree. All right. Well, hopefully we'll have you on Access Vegas here pretty soon.
Yes, I'm coming back,
When you come
guys.
back soon, it'll be a lot of fun. We'll definitely check that out. You can probably come judge one of my pageants if you're ever
I
out
would
here.
love to. Yes,
Definitely get that
yes.
going. Thank you guys all for joining us again. Thank you, Glenn, for doing this. Jabrizi for letting us use this studio. We will see you guys all next week.